Hi, I'm Kenny Anderson, Director of Multicultural Affairs for the City of Huntsville, and welcome to Impact. Each week we bring you information about great things that are happening in our community, and today will be no different. You know, one of the things that people that live in Huntsville-Madison County know is that if you're going to get around in this community, you're either going to have your own transportation or you're going to have to depend on public transportation. And with some of the limits that public transportation presents in our community, one can only imagine the challenges that one would have trying to get to work on a regular basis and probably just trying to move around the community for any number of things. Well, today we're going to talk to you about a great program that exists right here in this community that you may not have heard about before. It's called Wheels for Working. And I have the committee chair for Wheels for Working with me today. He's none other than Mack Yates. Mack, welcome to the broadcast.
Thank you, Kenny. Glad to be here.
It's good to have you here, and it's good to talk about this initiative, Wheels, the number 4 working, because as I said, public transportation for some people presents limits, in addition to the opportunities that transportation might provide for someone. So tell us a little something about what your program is all about and how people can perhaps learn more about the services that you provide.
Well, we live in a spread out community, and when people try to get to work, generally they don't work near where they live. And there seems to be no real answer other than a vehicle, an individual vehicle. We've watched over the time period that we were studying this in St. Vincent de Paul Society, we noticed people walking to work, and we had cases where people were having trouble getting to work, and mostly for the working poor, for those people who are down around poverty level. When a vehicle breaks down, they don't have the money to fix it, and they can lose a job that way. You know, with a job, you pay your own bills, you pay your taxes, you support your family, and it's a major thing. A carburetor goes out. For most people, they can fix it, but for a lot of people, that's not possible, and they're out of work. And so Wheels for Working was set up to repair vehicles for people around poverty level. We also have some vehicles donated, and we place those running vehicles also. So we're trying to keep people working that are trying to work, and by transportation, that method.
You know, and that's one of the tangible things that you do in terms of providing people with an opportunity to have regular transportation. But you think about all the intangibles, and you suggested some of those things. You know, we all want to have the sense that we can take care of ourselves. The whole notion of self-sufficiency, if I've got to travel from one point to the next, that I've got reliable transportation to do that. If I want to go to a job every day in order to be able to earn a living, in order to be able to provide for myself or my family, I want good transportation available because of that. And so many times, those of us that have it take it for granted. And I know that as a person who currently has it, but at one time didn't, I really can appreciate what you're saying, because I did have a situation at one time in my life where I didn't have transportation, and I really had to walk everywhere I went. It was about 13 months, and it was a pretty challenging time just walking around this community, having to get from one point to the next. This is a very common experience for a lot of people, isn't it?
Yes, it is, and there's no real solution on the horizon. You know, we talk about bike paths and mass transportation, and those systems are just not up and running and not likely to be for any time in the future. And so it all still boils back to having a car or a truck or some kind of vehicle that you can go to work in. And that's what we're trying to do. We're trying to keep people at work and to help their own lives, to help them have a life without having to depend on others and charity. It's not a charity. It's not a giveaway. There's requirements. You know, we want a person to be at a job for 90 days. We want to talk with the employer and make sure they feel like the employer says, well, they're going to still be there. They're working steady. We'd like to see 20 hours a week work. We have to go by the legal requirements of license, a driver's license that's valid, and some other things. But basically, if you've worked somewhere for 90 days straight and you're working 20 hours a week, we can work with you. That's the main two things.
Well, people, obviously, I think, should certainly be grabbing a pen right now and a piece of paper to write this information down, because we're going to tell them how to get in touch with you, how to find out more about your organization, because This is an ongoing challenge. As I said, it was my challenge many years ago, but I talk to people on a regular basis, almost daily, who are looking for transportation to get to work. And how frustrating could that be? So think about somebody who has a job and maybe they have been going through some kind of transitional phase in their life and they finally seem to have the pieces fitting together, and then their car breaks down or they lose their transportation or don't have transportation. Wheels for Working focuses on this population of individuals.
Exactly.
And provide some great opportunities for them. Now, you mentioned that you fix cars and you also have cars donated. Talk a little bit about those two things, because again, there may be people who would like to support those initiatives because you are 501c3.
Yes, and we have repaired about 104 vehicles. Probably spent around $50,000 doing that. We're averaging around $450 a vehicle. We will go up to $600 on the vehicle.
So you're talking about general repairs, not major overhauls.
Not major overhaul, although we're trying to get to that point. If we can get our funds to the point where we can afford it, we'll be doing transmissions and overhauls and other things. But some of the repairs are pretty major. And it can include tires, anything that keeps a person from getting to work. If they qualify for the program, we're going to address. There are two phases of the program. One is donations that help us. When you donate a vehicle, it doesn't have to be running. It just has to be towable. If we have a car that's not running, or a truck or whatever you donate, we auction that. We get the money for it. We put it in our bank account to repair other people's vehicles that are down around poverty level. If you donate an actual vehicle that we can get to be a running vehicle, we will actually donate that vehicle to a family that is in need. So that's two phases of it. So when you donate a vehicle, it doesn't have to be running. We'd like to have a running vehicle that is roadworthy, that we can place, but either one works for us. Can I tell you the numbers here?
Yes, please.
Okay.
People are going to want to know that.
There are two sides to the program, basically. One would be to where we would say, okay, I've got a vehicle, it doesn't run, but I'd like to donate it. And you would call the 800-322-8284 number and connect with some folks that will arrange to come by, give you a receipt, tow the vehicle, and probably auction the vehicle. If it's auction, you would get the auction price as the deductible amount. On the other hand, if you have a vehicle that runs and you want to donate it, you could call the local number, the 256-319-7871 number, which is on this that I'm holding up. And we would also be able to pick that up, but if we are able to place that with a family, then you would get a more like the Kelly Blue Book value for your car.
Right.
So, but either way, you can donate at either number. If you have a repair and you want our services or to be considered for our services, you can also call the local number, which is the 256-319-7871. And we will we'll answer the phone and work with you on trying to help you get your car repaired.
You know, I fully understood and can appreciate what you said about this not being a charity. This is not just people out there having needs across the spectrum and coming looking for transportation. You have a very specific targeted population. At the same time, it's not charity in that sense. This is a very charitable, compassionate service that's being provided in the same way that somebody who donates a car or donates funds to this organization would also be engaged in an act of charity. Mack, talk about the people whose lives are impacted by this program, because you have to see it on a regular basis. You have to see people who are in a bind, who feel like their backs up are up against a wall, and then Wheels for Working comes in and almost like the person with the S on their chest saves the day. You've seen the real human part of the story. Talk a little bit about that aspect of the work that you're engaged in.
We see a lot of working mothers that are supporting their children. They're out working. They've got a job across town from where they live. They're having to get on what transportation system they've got, switch buses. It takes them an hour, hour and a half to get to work in the morning. It takes them an hour, hour and a half to get home in the afternoon. Meanwhile, they're having to get other people to try to get their children to school if the bus isn't, available. There's just so much goes on there. We have families that have, most of them have several children, and they're trying to support these children. And it's not a thing of luxury. If we have, if you ask someone to dig a ditch for a living, you've got to give them a shovel. A car is a tool in this age, in the way we're spread out. It's not a gift. It's a tool that a person can use to work. And that's what most people want to say about, or want to say against charities. You're just handing out money. We don't just hand out money. We're trying to keep a person working so they can take care of themselves.
And are there accountability measures when you turn that car over to somebody? Is there any kind of reporting that has to be done beyond that? Or once the car is turned over to a person, are you clean in terms of the relationship, or disconnected from the relationship that you have with that person?
What we do is we're trying to give a person a leg up. And when we get a car that's donated, we take it to one of our approved mechanics, and they go through it thoroughly. They have to make sure that it is running, that it doesn't violate any state laws, that everything works on it, where they get out on the road, they're not going to get a ticket for something, that makes sure it's safe. So in that respect, when we give the vehicle, we're trying to give it the best we can. We don't have, although we have done in the past some extra repairs where something popped up that we didn't know about, we can't really follow them. We don't have the money to follow them down the road. We're just trying to give them a chance to go ahead and work on their own.
Yeah, you're certainly hoping that this person that has a job for at least 90 days
Right.
will continue on for another 90 days,
Right.
and 90 days, and 90 days, and that turns into a year, and then many years, and
Right.
that person develops a long history of work employment and the ability to financially take care of themselves.
Exactly.
And this is a great service. So people that want to know about this initiative, and I know we've had a chance to talk about this before, and I wouldn't call you a carefully guarded secret, but I know a lot of people probably don't know you're out there. You've given out the information before about how people can contact you, but talk again how, because we really talked about the donation aspect of it, but if I'm out there and I'm watching the show today and I need transportation, I've had my job for 90 days and I want it for another 90, but I just need that transportation, how would people reach out to you to get more information about the program?
Okay. The best thing to do is call the local number, the 256-319-7871, and we'll be back with you within 24 hours, and we will work with you on qualifying for the program and work with you, try to get your car running or your vehicle running again. But that's the number to call, the 319-7871.
So as soon as somebody has a need and realizes that they may meet the qualifications, they need to begin that process.
Yes.
It's up to them to initiate it. You'll work along with them to find out if they're qualified, and then you'll be able to figure out what the best option for them is in that situation.
Exactly.
Once they qualify.
Right.
Yeah, this is really a great service to our community, and I'm so happy that it's a part of our community. I know you guys have a website. I wish you would perhaps give us some information about how people can go to that website and perhaps look at what the program's all about. Again, people listening this afternoon may want to make a tax-deductible contribution. They may also want to donate a car that they have sitting around. And in Huntsville, of course, because everybody in the house owns a car, there may be 5 cars parked outside. Everybody doesn't really need a car. How can they connect to that website?
Well, in addition to the numbers, we do have a website. It's wheels4working.org, and it's the numeral 4, wheels4working.org. And you can get on there and learn about us and make contributions or let us know that you want to talk with us.
And like you said, this program has lots of potential to grow and expand, and it's going to take the community supporting it to make that happen. There are lots of creative ways that people can do that. I really wish, I actually sold an old car about 3 years ago, 3-4 years down the line. I didn't know about Wheels for Working at that time. I'd be more than happy to donate that car. It probably would still have been alive today. But unfortunately it's not, because the person that bought it didn't keep it up. But this is a great opportunity.
One of the other things I wanted everyone to know is that this is a charity in terms of 501c3, but we're all volunteers. No one gets paid anything. If you make a contribution, it goes totally to the person you make it for.
Wow.
No one here gets paid.
Wow.
So that's another thing that makes it so good, is that there's no loss of, the only expense we have is advertising, getting the word out. And we've done that through banners at some local churches. Phoenix Industry has been remarkable in helping us. They've been fantastic.
Yeah.
Brian Dotson down there has been so great to us and helped us out.
Yeah, great folks at Phoenix. I was driving west on Sparkman the other day and saw one of your signs. I said, oh, there it is. Now that I know about it, I'll probably see you guys all over the place.
That's right.
Which is great to know that you're in our community and you're making a difference. Mack, thank you for being here with us today. And come back sometime and let us know how the program is working. And maybe you can even bring a recipient of one of the vehicles on and let them give their first person testimony.
Wonderful.
All right.
Thank you.
Mack Yates is the committee chairman of the Wheels for Working initiative. You can find out more about them by going to their website at wheels4, that's the number 4, working, wheels4working.org. We hope that you enjoyed the show that we had today, and we hope that you've learned something and that you'll share some of the information with somebody who can benefit from it. We'll be back with another edition of Impact in the very near future. In the meantime, have a great day.